The chairman of the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament and the Member of Parliament for Doma Central, Kwekwa Jemaimenu, has called on the President to act swiftly to deal with heads of public operations, public boards and statutory institutions because just in 2010 and 2011 alone, we couldn't account for 2.1 billion Ghana cedis as far as funds from those institutions after auditing were concerned. And all these were contained in the Auditor General's report. And we have institutions like ECG, Ghana Cocoa Board, the SNITs, MPA, Trade Fair, a number of them. But this deeply speaks about effective financial management in the public sector, and especially in public corporations and public boards.
Yeah, it only brings to fore the fact that it's not only politicians, properly so-called, who are engaged in acts of corruption or misappropriating funds. These institutions you are talking about are manned by public servants. So if we are throwing our searchlight on acts of corruption, we should not just limit it to known politicians, government appointees, but we should also cast the net wide to include public sector persons who are working in these organizations. I think that his call is right. This is a huge amount. This could have solved a myriad of problems that we have in this country. Under the law, there is a need for prosecution in terms of persons who misappropriate funds. I remember at the last, I think last year, the President referred these matters to the Attorney General and asked the Attorney General to be swift on them. Persons who have been cited in the Auditor General's report that they have either misappropriated funds or they've misapplied funds should be prosecuted. I'm sure we'll want to find out from the Attorney General's Department what steps they are taking. I also know that under the law, people are surcharged, that is the public servants who have, by their own acts, negligence, have caused some financial loss, may be asked under the law to refund those monies. These are all punishments under the law. You remember there was Occupy Ghana that was asking the Auditor General to do its work. I think this call is also in that direction. And for me, I will not sit it and shield any public official, be it government appointee or be it a private person in terms of working in the public sector. I will never shield such a person just because I speak for government. I think this money lost is money lost for the whole of this country, and we need to crack the whip. Yes.
How do we go about it? You're in Parliament.
You see, I think that there has been a history of this.
Yes.
And
you do recall, you go to the 60s and the First Republic.
No. I can only speak. I will speak to things that are quite recent. Right. There has been a trend, and at the risk of sounding political, if you look at the trend, the cumulative losses to the public, that's the Auditor General has pointed out, has grown exponentially from a period. Okay.
Which period?
No, I would leave you to do it. Okay. That is why this is a very big matter, and to the best of our abilities, I think that we should take politics out. But the fact is that I think it is something you should find out and let the public know. But these losses keeps growing. I want to believe that it is because at the end of the day, no serious action is taken against anybody,
institutions or
anybody who is cited in a report like this. But if people were being surcharged, if people were, there's supposed to be a tribunal.
Yeah, financial tribunal.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a tribunal. I want to believe that the Chief Justice has said that she has set up the tribunal. I don't know why it is not operational. I I can admit it is not everybody who will go before that tribunal who will be jailed, because sometimes when you look at the thing, it is not because they have quote unquote stolen money.
But just because perhaps the records.
But the records and all of this. But
submission
at least,
of invoices. And
at least we must not only do the proper thing, we must, that is what you lawyers say. Justice must not only be seen to be done, but
it must be manifestly seen to be done.
Yes. You understand? It is important that we begin to take the steps so that all and sundry, including us, will begin to realize that if you take government money and you travel with it, when you come back, you must retire that interest. You may not take any money back to government because you have spent the money. But government gave you money to as interest. When you come back and you have used the money, bring the receipts, bring the invoices, and retire it. Otherwise, it stands as unretired interest. And to all intents and purposes, to the extent that you have not retired it, it is held against you. I think we must begin to be serious as a nation and ensure that these things are done. The second thing that comes up in this when I read the report is particularly for a place like SNIT, it does appear a little frightening. For me, and from where I come from politically, my own political philosophy, it confirms to me that it is not the business of government to do business. It is the business of government to ensure that a good environment is created so that the people that do business best have a good playing field to do business. In the report, very clearly, it will tell you, SNIT, SNIT Hospital and SNIT Guest House.
They've been making losses.
They've been making losses all this while.
And they kept investing in the company, Best Block.
SNIT kept investing in a company called
Best Block.
Best Block.
An estate developer which was continuously making losses, but they kept
huge losses. And then the excuse is that SNIT was supposed to do the Domkona and another project because the project didn't come up. I mean, this Domkona project has stalled for the last 10 years. So why hasn't SNIT cut their losses all this while? SNIT Hospital was making losses until the report tells us that now they are privatized it. Now they are able to pay for themselves. SNIT Guest House made huge losses. And now they are privatized it.
And it's a prime area.
Prime. Rich.
And their rates are...
You know, and you see, the sad thing is that all of us that are working today, I don't know whether Amaba contributes to Social Security, I don't know.
Why not?
You know, our expectation is that when we retire, this is what will pay our pensions. But if you put money...
And it's been abused.
And it is just draining away.
You should be worried.
Ultimately, yeah, you should be worried.
You should be raising questions, really, all of us.
And letting self-interest. It is our money. Okay. So if you put our money in Best Block, if you put our money is just doing SNIT Guest House, our money is just doing SNIT Hospital,
because,
and
for
we
example,
are not getting any returns, then how will our pensions get paid?
Yes. Because you take a case, for example, for SIC, where they have... a company was able to have an injunction or win a case against them for
and
them
it's a lot
to
of
pay
money,
their Yes.
It's about
and they
200
say
million.
if they pay the amount, they're not going to be solvent for a long time, and as a result, they have to
I mean, yes.
So it talks about public interest because it's a public operation.
Absolutely. Some of the things like.
But when you take Cocoa Board, for instance, Cocoa Board made a profit of 1,586 million Ghana cedis. But what they said was that their response was to the effect that they used it to construct cocoa roads. For me, the idea is good, but did they get clearance before they did, before they did that?
Indeed.
So this will have to be from the Oversight Ministry?
I'm sure.
Indeed.
Because these are profits that you should have paid into government chest. Yes. So
not probably not even pay, but you must pay dividend. Even if you are not paying everything into government chest.
You have to pay something.
You have to pay dividend.
So why would they use it for cocoa roads maybe we need to find out, did they have clearance to do that? But it is clear that it was not embezzled, or no acts of corruption was cited. It's just that it has been misappropriated or misapplied.
Right. Yes. Indeed, we have to indeed, a very interesting issue was raised in Parliament. You know, in the disbursement of the cocoa revenues, there is all of these things are taken care of prior to the striking of
the budget.
No, in the cocoa board budget. Okay. The expenditure items include cocoa roads, includes payment for pesticides, payment for fertilizer. All of it is on the expenditure side as against the revenue. And this
so it could be that they overspent.
Probably, but
because it's been budgeted for.
I will clearly want to support my colleague in this matter, that we must clearly draw the lines. And for me, at the end of the day, why all of this happens is that I think that we give too much discretion to public office holders. We give too much discretion to public office holders.
Well, they are public office holders. We're giving them the mandate to manage the corporations.
Yes, but when you make profit, it is profit.
Okay.
The money doesn't belong to you. The money belongs to government. Even if government wants to use it for something, there must be clear instructions. There must be clear channels to use before you use that money.
If I look, 8:43, my time will be getting up soon. I just want us to touch on this. The city has been doing so well, but also equally receiving a lot of criticism about the way we've been able to achieve this. And the question has been whether it's going to be sustainable and things like that. I want us to use about 6-7 minutes to talk about it. I mean, just a few words. Abraham, I start with you. I know it's not part of...
Oh, yes. I think that is good news. We were saddled with the downward trend of the cedi. If the Bank of Ghana has found ways to ensure that the cedi appreciates, I think that in the short term, it is something commendable. In the long term, we would have to put in mechanisms that will ensure that we don't import just everything, because it is our heavy importation that causes the fall of the cedi. But I think that is good news. There were those who thought that it will hit 5 cedis to $1, but the daily injection of 20 million into the system is what has actually caused this, and it has rippling effect. Those who were also keeping their dollars in their room have also started bringing it out. So it is good news, and I think that we should applaud it. As to whether we can sustain it or not, the Deputy Minister of Finance has indicated that the Bank of Ghana is not going to be able to continually pump in that money. What is going to happen is that we need to put in mechanisms, measures that will ensure that we cut down on some of our imports. I'm happy to announce to you that TOR has started operating. So the amount of...
Are you on the TOR board?
Yes. No, I'm not on the TOR board, but I have some information. When you go, you see this thing bellowing. They've started operating. So that will also ensure that we cut down on our import of crude.
Of refined.
Refined, rather. So I think all these things will go a long way to show up the cedi. Yeah. I
know it's about the cedi. I wanted to ask you though, if they started operating, what level of operation are they doing? Because I know they were just doing tests run of the machines. Sometimes they can't come and clean. I have some friends who work there.
Yeah, but now I'm told that they've started operating.
Okay.
Okay. I would want to say that it is good news that the cedi changes at
the rate at which it is.
At the rate at which it is. You see, the irony is that when you look at government projections, government itself puts the projection at 3.7. Cocoa Board just brought their documentation for parliamentary approval, and their projection is that the cedi should be 3.7. Today, I hear it is 3.4. Clearly, it's an indication that even government itself does not believe that what is happening is...
Why are you being skeptical?
Oh, I'm not being skeptical. I mean, I am a businessman. It is good if I mean, how I wish the cedi was 2-1. You understand me? How I wish that the CD was 2-1. But I have heard the deputy minister say, and I have also heard the chairman of the finance committee, and it is on Ghana Web or Peace FM Online or somewhere like that, that this run is not sustainable. Indeed, if all of us will remember, last year it happened. The CD went up to 3.7, and then there was an intervention, and it came back to 3.2 or something. And this year it started at 3.2 and ended at 4.7. You see, when you manage an economy, and for the people, the business people out there, what they don't like at all is this kind of cyclical movement of the currency. They would, if the currency is at an even high level and everybody is sure that it is going to be there for a year or two, it makes for better planning. But this roller coaster thing is not just good for business.
But we've all been clamoring for it to...
Oh, everybody wants it to come down. I mean, even just government paying its debts. Government owes money, and government must change money to pay its debts. At 4.7, how was government going to do this? At 4.7, how were the business people that had imported things 4 months back and sold?
Going to mop up enough cash to...
The businesses were just collapsing. I know of somebody who took a loan to build a factory, okay, and he has paid. Very decent businessman. He had paid. He told me that he was left with about $5 million. At the beginning of 2014, $5 million was about 10 million cedis. When the CD went up to 4, the same 10 million cedis had gone up to 20 million cedis. You know, this is the challenge. So everybody would want, I think what we must all clamor for is a certain stability, not this roller coaster. We are happy that it is coming down.
Stability is key.
It is, what is important is sustainability.
But I think that it should reflect in our prices. I think that the OMCs should begin to revise their prices.
Okay.
I think that traders should also begin to revise their... I have heard them indicate that the goods they have now were goods they bought at the time the dollar was up.
Yeah.
They don't put up that same argument if the dollar rises. They don't say that we will sell at the previous price until we go for new ones. So that kind of double talking is what I dislike.
But can't you also agree that because there's instability in the system, they're very much perhaps apprehensive as to whether to reduce prices, and then in the next month or two...
I am talking about consistency. If they are waiting to see whether there will be some stability before they reduce their prices, I have nothing against that. But I think that, again, if there's a rise in the exchange, they must also wait a little to ensure whether it will come down or not. But they have a different attitude towards when the dollar CD rises, and another attitude when the CD falls. I think that is not fair.
I guess for the morning, Abraham Amaliba is a legal practitioner.
Even with...
He is with the NDC's legal team.
It's not fair.
And Emmanuel Tremantin Ejakon is a member of parliament for Ayawaso West Wogon constituency. It's a constituency name I like.